Writing a personal statement is a challenge, especially when English is not your first language. I've been there. When writing my personal statement, I found myself constantly using the same words over and over again. Today, I want to talk about which expressions I use to make my language sound more variable. So if you want to stop using the same words over and over again, you should watch this video. Hey guys, I'm Juva. Today is all about how you can make the language in your personal statement sound more variable. When I was writing my personal statement, in the beginning, I constantly repeated the same words over and over again. My favorite expressions obviously were I'm interested in and I think. When rereading my personal statement, I was so bored by my own language that I decided I couldn't go on like that, because if I'm bored, the reader will be bored. So I started to think about how I can make my language sound more variable. And I came up with 3 categories of words that you can use in a personal statement. Let's start with category number 1. Interest. You want to tell the reader that you are interested in the subject. My favorite expression for this obviously was I'm interested in. And so whenever I wanted to express that I'm interested in the subject I'm applying for, which was law by the way, I wrote I'm interested in, I'm interested in, I'm interested in. And that's really a pity because there are so many other words you can use instead of I'm interested in. For instance, you can say this captures my interest in the subject. If you say this captures my interest, this means I'm really interested in that. For example, you could say, I attended a talk about human rights which captured my interest in law. Another thing you could say is, this enthuses me. This means I'm really enthusiastic about it. So, for example, you could say, reading math at university enthuses me. And there is actually another expression that I really like. I find compelling. I find compelling means something like, I can't get enough of that. I can't stop thinking about that. For example, you could say, I find compelling how neural networks function. I find compelling how law works in society. I find compelling how to construct an argument. The next point is discussion. In your personal statement, you may want to discuss a few points. For example, you may want to discuss something you've read, a book or an article, or you may want to talk about an experience you had and talk about your opinion regarding that experience. And the favorite word I was using was I think. I think, I think. Another expression you could use instead of I think is this allowed me to reflect on. This means there was something, for example, a book, an article, or an event. And this made me think about something. For example, you could say, I read an article about data protection, which allowed me to reflect on the role of law in the digital age. When you are discussing certain points, you could also say, I argue or I object instead of I think. Let's go on with the 3rd category, skills. In your personal statement, you may want to tell the reader which skills you acquired in the past and how you did that. My favorite expression for this was I learned how to. I learned how to. I learned how to. Instead of I learned how to, you could say, this taught me how to do something. This means there was something and I learned something from that. So you actually say that you learned something from an event or from a course you took or from something you studied, but you don't use the verb learn. For example, you could say, participating in the writing course taught me how to express my ideas coherently. Another expression you could use is, this has helped me develop my ability to. This means again the same. There was something and I developed an ability to do something. That means I learned something from that. But again, we use a different expression and don't use the verb learn. So for example, you could say, participating in a writing course has helped me develop the ability to express my ideas coherently. Let's have a look at the last expression, and I actually really love that one. Instead of saying I learned how to, you could say this improved my skills in. And the great thing is that you can substitute the verb improve by other verbs. For example, instead of improve, you could say enhance, refine, hone, strengthen, or sharpen. So you could say this improved my skills, this strengthened my skills, this honed my skills in, and so on. For example, you could say participating in a writing course improved my written communication skills. You could also say participating in a writing course strengthened my written communication skills. This means simply by substituting the verb improve by other verbs, you can construct a totally different sentence and show that you have a broad range of vocabulary. These are all the expressions I used in my personal statement to make my language sound more variable. I hope this helps. I hope you guys liked the video, and I really hope to see you next time. See ya!